Have you cried tears of sadness and you felt weak and had panic attacks? I have. I suffered a breakdown and I also had depression. I kind of lost my way in my life, and I didn't really have very much confidence in myself. I started to get panic attacks, and I think that's what led to the breakdown, but I was also dissatisfied with my life and I felt in a rut. I knew that I had to change myself, but I didn't feel that I had the strength to do it. There was a gap of a year and I was building myself up, and then I started to come to the church. From when I started coming to the very first meeting, I just felt inspired and empowered. From then on, I started going 3 times a week. I was gaining all this knowledge in practical ways, you know, how to use things to develop a confidence in myself and a faith in myself that I could do things. Now I have dreams for my life, and I'm going to become a potter. I'm going to buy a bit of land. I'm going to build an eco house on it. I'm just stronger now, and I'm much more joyful in my life and more excited about my life.
Hello, a very good evening. Welcome to Finding Answers. You know, we have a privilege every single day. And that privilege is that at one point, this clock that I have here, let's see if I can put it straight, this clock here, when it gets to midnight, you sort of reset all the chances that you had and you missed. You reset, or you give yourself another chance if you made some mistakes to put things right. It's like every single day you're given a new opportunity to start again. If you are in a relationship and you disappointed the person that you're in a relationship with, tomorrow you can make up for it, right? And actually, every time we come on Finding Answers, we make a prayer close to midnight. And that is a symbol of you starting again. So every day is a new day, no matter how bad today was. Perhaps you had the worst Monday in recent history. Perhaps you had a terrible, terrible Monday. You know, everything went wrong. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Perhaps you had an accident. You had a string of negative things that happened. And you couldn't have wished for a worse start. But tomorrow will be a new day, a brand new day. When the clock goes to, let me put this straight again. I get so excited of talking about this that the clock moves in my hands. But when the clock goes to midnight, you start again. You start afresh. So no matter how much you've messed up, you can always start again. And that's tonight's topic. Today was bad, but tomorrow can be better. Tomorrow will always be another day. Another day for you to right your wrongs. Another day for you to forgive if someone hurt you. Another day for you to try again. Perhaps you've been unemployed for a while and you've tried so many times to try to get that job, but you failed. Tomorrow is another day. You can try again. You can go ahead and try again because it's going to work. Perhaps you've heard from the doctors that you're sick, that you're ill, and there isn't much chance of recovery. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is a day where you can start again. Let's have a look at this video and we'll be back in just a moment.
Some days are tougher than others. But when you've had a really bad day, it's easy to give up. You may lose motivation and consider quitting your job or not going to the job interview that you're dreading. Maybe you've encountered an embarrassing situation, or you just feel like everything that's happened to you today has been negative. Rather than dwelling on today's events, why not decide to wipe the slate clean and look forward to a new day? Tomorrow you can wake up with a new positive mindset, erasing the memories of yesterday. Believe that you can wake up mentally stronger. During the evening, when it's dark outside, you may feel more negative. Try to avoid making important decisions at night. You may be on your own with little to do. Also, the time of year may have an impact on how you're feeling. The January blues is a term coined to reflect possible reactions to this time of year, such as an extended period of darkness and financial worries. But waking up with a clear head and daylight can have a significant impact on your cognitive decision-making skills. Some psychologists believe that dreaming can also help organize your thoughts. This could help you assimilate everything that's happened to you, which could be one reason why you often feel better when you wake up than how you felt the night before. But remember, even if today has been hard work, tomorrow is another day.
You know, I really like what that video said, that when you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, you always feel better. The problem is, if you suffer with insomnia, that even when you want to switch off from your problems, you can't. I have here with me Abraham. Good evening, Abraham.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine.
When a person wants to switch off and rest and wake up ready for another day, ready for the challenges, but they can't rest because they suffer with insomnia, then the person has their problems multiplied many times over because they can't switch off, right?
Yeah, and especially because each and every day brings a new challenge. No?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if I did not solve a problem from the previous day, so chances are that in this new day that is just beginning, I'm going to also have new challenges. And the possibility of starting a new day, James, it's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And it's free of charge. No?
Yeah.
For example, I would say the poor has this chance. No one can complain saying, well, I don't have this chance of starting all over again. The rich doesn't have to pay. Mm-hmm. The educated person, uneducated. So regardless who the person may be, she has this gift, the possibility to start all over again.
I really like what you said. It's a gift and it's free.
It's free.
Right? No matter who you are, you have the gift to start again tomorrow. Listen, if you right now, you had the Monday from hell, right? You got bad news today. And perhaps, you know, you've had the Monday, the Wednesday, the Tuesday, the Thursday, Friday, you've been having day after day of hell. Everything's gone wrong for you over the past few days. Perhaps you say everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Get in contact with us. We can help you. We can pray for you. And that prayer that we're going to make close to midnight will mark the beginning of a brand new day, and you will receive the chances you need to start again. And one more thing. If you're watching me now and you have problems sleeping, you have insomnia, or just the problems in your mind don't let you rest, I'm telling you that when we pray for you tonight, you will receive a good night's rest. You will be able to do so, even if you haven't been able to do that for a while. If you want to get in contact with us, the number is 020-7686-6300, 020-7686-6300. Our team are ready to speak to you now. They're ready to listen to you and to pray for you. Or you can send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. That email again, help@findinganswers.tv. We're going to go into a short break. We'll be back in just a moment.
How do you heal the wounds of a broken soul? Let us help you.
a duck. What can it do? It swims, it walks, it flies. But does it do them all well? Yes, a duck can do all of the above, but it's not known for being great at any. So, are you a duck? Rather than attempting to do all things, why not be the best at one thing at a time? You will find you'll actually learn to be great at more things. This is your UCKG timetable. We are open 7 days a week, helping you to make a new beginning. Monday, a meeting focused on achieving more in your financial life. Tuesday, prayers for healing. Wednesday, a meeting teaching you to develop in your spiritual life. Thursday, a special prayer for the family. Friday, a service for your spiritual deliverance. Saturday, Find the One, a service specifically tailored for your love life. Sunday, Reconnect with God, the main meeting for your spiritual strength.
Welcome back. Shortly, you will meet a young woman who is here with me today, that because of her faith, God worked a miracle in her family. But when you hear her story is actually amazing. You know, it was a hopeless, lost case. And because of the faith of this young woman, God totally transformed her family. And actually today we're going to be showing you a lot of testimonies. Here's another real life story and how the power of faith can change lives.
Well, I just used to look in the mirror and I was just down. You know, I really didn't like what I saw. I couldn't smile. You know, honestly speaking, I just used to look there and wanted to cry, really. You know, it was a really horrible moment for me, waking up in the morning and just having to look at myself and think, you know, that's who I am, really. You know, I couldn't accept myself for who I was. I used to walk with my head down all the time, and like a lot of people mentioned it to me actually, how down I looked, you know, literally just looking at the floor all the time. Because I couldn't look at people. I always thought that they were thinking what I was thinking and that they were judging me and that they thought exactly as I was thinking. And the way I saw myself, I thought that that's exactly how they saw me, in such a negative light. I was invited to the church first, and obviously when I came here, for a good few years I was very closed up, so I didn't want to speak to anybody, to be honest, because I always thought, I thought people were still judging me and thought, you know, that they would think, what is wrong with this girl? Like, what is her problem? I don't understand. But as time went on, I started to open up, you know, I started to talk, you know, more about what was going on inside. You know, I started to dig a bit deeper, you know, and tell people, you know, what the problems were. And that really helped me overcome, you know, my low self-esteem. You know, it helped me develop in my confidence levels. You know, it really helped me, you know, I was able to put my head high. I took part in a purpose of faith, and it really helped me overcome, you know, this issue that I was dealing with, because I was able to pour everything out. Everything that had been buried inside, I was able to let go of. And at the end of it, I just felt so relieved, you know, like it was just joy and peace after, because when you have things inside of you and you feel like you can't talk to anybody, or you feel like you can't open up about it, and you finally do, it's amazing, honestly. So today, I'm confident, I love who I see in the mirror, and yeah, I'm just loving me.
Of course, we know that tomorrow is a new day, but some people find it really difficult to let go of what they've gone through, of the trauma, the problems that they have faced. And it's very important, Abraham, that people learn that they cannot carry these things with them. Sometimes you have to almost force yourself to say, I don't want to have this with me tomorrow. I want to leave it behind me today.
Yeah, especially because it make it the person burden, heavy. The problems start piling up, and then the person does not know what to do anymore. So it's really important, dear friend, that you get in touch with us right now and talk to someone. Someone will be right there to listen to this person.
Yeah. Because like you said, the problem is that things pile up, right? One problem today may not be very difficult to deal with, but if you don't leave these things behind, if you don't understand that tomorrow you have a chance to make things better, that there's no point for you to beat yourself over the fact that you had a missed opportunity, the fact you said something wrong, did something wrong. If you don't understand that tomorrow you can try to put those things right, then you're always going to be living in the past, and things are going to pile up, and it will be impossible for you to deal with that. If at any point during this program you want to speak to us, the number is 020-7686-6300, or send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. Let's meet this young woman who's here with us tonight. Her name is Juliana. Let's hear her amazing story.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
So I have here Juliana. Welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good? All right, Juliana, before you tell us about this amazing thing that happened in your family, and actually it is amazing, I want you to tell us, how was your childhood growing up? What did you see happening in your family on a regular basis?
Well, probably around the age of 3, 4, like I saw my dad hitting my mum all the time. There was moments that I would even go in the middle of them trying to separate them. So that's how I grew up. I don't remember very good memories. I just remember bad memories.
So, I mean, the age of 4 or 5, that's quite young, but you still remember your parents fighting? Were they like physical fights?
Yeah, physical fights. I remember one time that my dad was hitting my mum, and they were locking the toilet door so that I wouldn't go in, and I was banging till my dad stopped, and I was only maybe 4.
Up to what time do you remember these things happen in your family? I mean, how long were your parents in this situation?
Until they got divorced, really. That's how it was always.
How old were you at that time?
I was 4, 5.
4. Okay, so you were very young when that happened. So the fact that your parents' marriage broke up, I mean, what did that do to you? You were then left in a home where your mom was alone. You have a sister, right?
Yeah.
So you were alone with your mom, your sister. Your dad was no longer there. What did that do to you?
That because that felt like I didn't have a dad anymore, and because of what I saw him doing to my mom, I didn't have a close relationship with him. I didn't feel like that dad love that I would feel the love for my mom. So we was just, because at that time we didn't have a house, so we was just staying at my nan's house, and yeah, there was problems, and even my mom always used to hide because my dad would come and chase after her. Even when they got divorced, he was always looking for her, so she was scared to walk in the dark or walk by herself.
So the thing is, even when your dad left, because when you were talking, I thought that when your parents got divorced, then the violence was over. But the truth is that even after that, your dad would be after your mom. So you saw that even after they got divorced.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst thing you ever saw happening between your mom and dad?
Between my mom and dad, I think it was the thing that stayed in my mind until today. It was that one when my dad was hitting my mum, and he locked her in the toilet, and I could hear her screaming, but I couldn't do anything, and I kept banging on the door, but they didn't let me in.
What did you feel towards your dad growing up? Did you love him? Did you hate him? Did you want to see him, or you didn't want to see him?
To be honest, I didn't really care much, because when I didn't have that much time to have love for him, because I only remembered things like from 3. But because they divorced when I was 5, I never really had that close relationship with him. I just saw him as like an uncle,
right,
kind of thing.
And you, I mean, were you a happy person? Were you someone, like growing up, were you someone who found it easy to talk to people, or did that separation cause problems within yourself as well?
It caused a lot of problems within me because of what I saw. Like at that age, I just made the decision that I never wanted to suffer like my mum, so I made the decision not to ever get married. And then like from that, like I grew to being a very close child. I was very shy, very timid, and I'd be very quiet. I wouldn't talk to people. Yeah, I was always being put down.
Even now you're still a little bit quiet, right?
Just a little bit.
You're overcoming the shyness. Actually, you're in the problem because you're overcoming the shyness, right? So you became quite closed up with people.
Yeah.
Was that with your family as well?
Yeah. I didn't trust anyone, really. I didn't trust my family members. I didn't really trust my friends, anyone.
Right. So you came to the church at a point where your parents were divorced, right? How long had you not seen your dad for? What's the longest that went by that you didn't see your dad?
The longest? Well, when I was growing up, like I used to see him like sometimes on the weekend. If he made the decision to come and see us, then I would see him. But maybe 4 years.
4 years?
5.
Without seeing him, 4 or 5 years without seeing him. When you came to the church, did you want your parents to get back together, or you didn't even think about it, or did you think it was possible? What was going through your mind when you came to the church and you were learning how to use your faith?
When the thing that stood out for me the most was that like nothing is impossible. I never knew that before. So when I learned that, then I was like, oh, maybe my family could be together. But at the time I didn't expect, wow, something really big. I just, like when I used to imagine us like being together around the table, like at least my mom and my dad talking, being friends and things like that.
Okay, so what was going through your mind is at least we could sit down in peace and eat once in a while, right? Once a year, a couple of times a year, right?
Yeah.
But something else happened. Something completely different happened. And you're going to hear what happened. Not yet, but I want you to hear what happened after the break. First, I want you to think about what she said now. She said, look, I was just hoping that my family maybe once a year could sit down and have a meal together. But because of her faith, something extraordinary happened, which you'll hear after the break. First of all, let's see what the people in London have to say about today's topic. Is it possible to have a better tomorrow? Let's have a look.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and families as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi, I'm Chica on the streets of London once again for Finding Answers. So, tomorrow is another day, but we all know that some days are tougher than others. So I'm finding out from the general public what really gets them through a bad day. Let's see what they say. What usually gets you through a bad day?
Usually that's music. I like to listen to music that I like, and that's really helpful when I have a bad day.
Bad day, that just has to be laughter, really. Just keep yourself laughing.
I try to do some planning with my friends, or going out to see a movie.
Usually a nice cup of hot chocolate.
Well, through a bad day, I think about the struggles that I've been through in the past, and I just keep thinking, you know what, I've come this far, so let me just carry on.
Come on, spin me around now, I don't wanna go home. 'Cause when you hold me
Introducing the Love Therapy website. Love Therapy can help you find true love and show couples how to enjoy happiness through a successful relationship. So why not click on the Love Therapy website for dynamic, interesting and useful tips on love. You can watch inspirational videos from happy couples sharing their experiences of maintaining relationship strength and find out when the Love Therapy meetings are. If you're looking forward to a first date, then the Love Therapy website has 5 tips for that all-important first date. And why not sign up for the Love Therapy newsletter to receive the latest news and events postings? All you need at your fingertips. The Love Therapy website.
Welcome back to Find the Answers, and tonight's topic is Tomorrow is Another Day. Just remind you that you can get in touch with us. Just call us now 02076866300, or you can even send us an email, help@findinganswers.tv. Let's keep on watching more testimonies, and we'll be right back with you.
I came from an alcoholic family. From my 4th birthday, I was given alcohol to drink and I got drunk. Every member of my family drank, so it was there from birth. As I got older, I didn't drink so much, but then I got married to an alcoholic. And when we got married, I was trying to keep up with him, drinking with him, going to the pub with him, and trying to stay sober while drunk. That's strange, but that's how it was. My life started going wrong after my marriage broke up, and the drinking got worse because I started having spiritual attacks. So I had to drink to forget, I had to drink to overcome the attacks I was getting, and even then nothing worked. So I kept on drinking and drinking. I used to work for an alcohol rehab unit, a residential unit, and I used to go to work drunk, even though the residents weren't supposed to drink. But I used to use things like perfume, I used to use strong mouthwashes and eat lots of mints to get rid of the smell of alcohol. So I was invited by one of my sons to come to a church, and when I came to this church, I was taught how to use my faith. I was given advice what to do. I took the advice and I used them to the best of my advantage. And I found that my life was getting better and better because I was being prayed for. I was praying, I was taught how to pray, and my life, bit by bit, started getting better, week after week, month after month. And all the problems I came with just disappeared, but the one that was really, really hard for me to do was to give up drinking, and I had to fight. I am free from alcohol. To tell you the truth, I don't even want to smell alcohol. It makes me feel a bit crazy. There was something there that was controlling me, and now I've got control of my life, and I do what I need to do to get my life better.
So when we went for the break, Juliana was telling us that her dream was that at least her mom and dad and her and her sister would be able to sit at a table to eat a meal without a fight erupting, even if it was once in a while. But when you came to church, you said you started to believe that everything was possible. So how did you use your faith? What did you do?
Well, I took part in a purpose of faith. I decided to do it for my family. So at this time, my dad was back in my home country, and he had a partner there. My mum was here in England, and she also had a partner. So like it really seemed impossible, like really, but because of what I learned, I knew that it was possible. So then straight after the purpose of faith that I took part in, my dad came here and he got a job opportunity, which before he said that he would never come here. And even like he was telling me that he had everything prepared to go to a different country, but he came here to see how it is. So then he got a job opportunity here. And then in September came the Love School, which was sponsored by our church. So then I decided to buy a ticket for my dad when my mom had already bought a family ticket for me, my mom, my sister. And she also bought one for her partner at the time. And he didn't want to come.
Your dad didn't want to come?
No, the partner that she had.
Your mom's partner didn't want to come, okay.
And I bought one for my dad, but when I bought it, I was like, I didn't know what her reaction would be because she didn't want to do anything with my dad. And when I told her, she even said that if you think that we're ever going to get back together, we're never going to get back together. And that if he's going to come here for that intention, then she would go back home.
So your mom said if your dad would come here, she would leave the country, go back home.
Yeah. So
that's how much she didn't want to be with him.
Yeah.
And when you bought the ticket for Love School, so you already planned that you were going to put him to sit together?
Yeah.
Was that the plan?
I was planning to, but at the day I had to sit in between both of them.
So you sat between both of them so that they wouldn't fight?
Yeah.
Okay. And your mom, was she attending the church with you at that time?
Yeah, she was.
She was. So it's just your dad that wasn't initially attending the church. And what happened after Love School?
Well, after Love School, I started inviting my dad to come as well. So he was coming, and then Mom started seeing changes in him, and she saw that her partner at the time was going nowhere. So, like he was, my dad was always coming. She started seeing the change in him. So then she didn't want to accept that him back in her life. She wanted anyone else but not him. And then that's when she decided to take part in her own purpose of faith. And then after that purpose of faith, then she started to look at my dad like with different eyes. Then she started to accept more him back in her life, our life.
So your dad, and it's important that we explain this, your dad coming to church, he changed. He was no longer that violent man that you remember from attacking your mom many years ago. He became a different man, right? And even though your mom said, you know, I can be with anyone apart from him, she began to see him differently because he changed, right?
Yeah.
And what happened last year?
Well,
was it last year or the year before?
It
2013, 2014?
It was 2014.
2014, what happened?
So after that she started speaking to him, she then made the decision to ask him if he wanted our family back, and he accepted it. So then after maybe 2 months, it was her birthday. So he gave her an engagement ring.
He proposed to her for the second time because they were married before?
Yeah.
So now they got married again, right? Actually, I held the wedding, I was there.
Yeah.
And how is the family now? I mean, being that all of you are now in the church, in the faith, God restored your family. How is your family today? How is your home today? Do you guys sit to eat together like you dreamed before?
Yeah, it's so amazing because before it used to be in my imagination, but now it's like I see it all the time. And there's like unity, there's love in my family, like we show love, like we hug each other and things like that, which before that never happened.
So before you said, well, one day, if at least we can sit down at the table and eat as a family, at least once. But now you do that every day, right? And your dad is a different man.
Yeah.
there's peace in the family. Actually, it's a shame we didn't bring pictures of their wedding today, because we have some beautiful pictures of their wedding day, their second wedding day. And it's just to show to you at home what we were saying earlier, that tomorrow is a new day. You know, imagine, you've imagined, as she was telling the story of her family, a broken marriage because of violence. Of course, your mom had to leave, your mom had to divorce your dad. At that time, they couldn't be together. He was violent. But someone changing to the point of today, this family being united like this. You know, they had children, they loved each other at one point, then everything went wrong. And because of your faith, because your mom didn't have the same faith that you had, she didn't believe that this could happen, but because you believed, today your family is united, and they owe that to your faith. Of course, now they have their own faith, but that's the power of what faith can do. So maybe you say, James, my life is a problem after another. I don't know what to do anymore. But tomorrow is a new day, and with faith, you can make tomorrow better than today. No matter the catastrophes, the disaster that it has happened personally to you, no matter what you've gone through, by the power of faith, you can make the impossible happen tomorrow. This is the God that we serve. So let's watch another testimony. After this, we'll go to a break. And what I want you to do now is, if you were touched by Juliana's story, if you were touched by how her family changed, if you were touched by the amazing story of this young lady here, how God restored her family, and maybe you need God to restore you first as a person. Maybe you're full of problems within yourself as a person. Maybe you need Him to restore your family, perhaps as well. Maybe you need Him to restore your future, your past. Then get in touch, because as Juliana is here telling her story, you can be here also one day, because the same God that changed her life can also change yours. If you want to speak to us, the number is 020-7686-6300. That's 020-7686-6300, or you can send us an email now to help@findinganswers.tv. Let's go and watch this wonderful testimony, and then a break, and we'll be right back.
At the age of 15, I was in a relationship and I was abused. It seemed impossible for me to forgive him, and also for me to start loving myself again. I started to hate him, and not only just hated him, I also started to hate myself. I didn't like who I was. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have an identity. And because of that, I started to have suicidal thoughts, and I began to change the outside appearance because I did not like what I saw in the mirror. So I began to shave my hair, and I also started to starve myself. And through this, I became more and more closed. I became very defensive, moody. Even at home, I wasn't a good role model at home. My relationship with my mother went from bad to worse. I started to blame her for what happened to me as well. And then after coming to the church, coming to the meetings and services, I learned how to build a relationship with God. And when learning to build a relationship with God, I learned how to love God. And after that, I started to learn how to love myself. The more I began to love God, the more I began to love myself and who I was. After 4 years, I managed to forgive him and also to start loving myself. And today I'm happy.
Hello, students. Are you ready to learn about love? Yes? So let's learn to love intelligently.
I've never seen poor people say, I hate money. You know what? Money is just a piece of paper.
Amazing time in the lobster today. I learned so many things today.
It was quite insightful, really helpful, straight to the point.
Someday you feel in love with this person. Some days you want to strangle that person. Easier said than done because you're not practicing love with your brain. Why buy the cow if you can get milk for free? She's the only woman for you in the world, and she's going to be always a happy woman, treat you well, and there will be lots of milk as well.
I have the good time here, very nice. I feel happy.
It was brilliant, it was fun. I've learned a lot about love. We love Love School!
If you weren't here, get the DVD, get the book, invest in your love life.
Oh, you want to eat? You want food? Okay. Take us to a restaurant.
Learned a lot. Actually can't wait for the DVD to come out because there's so many points that I wasn't able to like note down. But when the DVD comes out, I'm gonna get the DVD and watch it over and over again.
My lifestyle before coming to the church was quite a reckless one. I used to go out clubbing every night. I used to lie in bed most of the day. I wasn't working and I hadn't worked for about 15 years. My lowest point was when I stood on the edge of King's Cross Underground Station and I really wanted to jump in the underground because I was just feeling so low, so depressed. I've been free from this addiction, it must be about 16 years now. I don't go to clubs anymore, I'm not addicted anymore.
I was talking here to Abraham during the break, and you were saying something very interesting, that, you know, the thing of tomorrow is a new day can be a very positive thing, but it can also be negative, because some people, they to everything they need to do, they say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, and that tomorrow never comes, right?
No, this tomorrow never comes, and the life remains the same or even worse. So it's like throwing away the gift that we were just talking at the beginning of the program.
Yeah.
It's like the person just throw away. No, tomorrow I will forgive, for example. How many people now, they might be watching us, holding grudge in their hearts, and they say, well, tomorrow I'll forgive. But they just live for tomorrow, and this tomorrow never comes.
And then, for example, how many people, when someone related to them dies, they say, oh, I wish I could have said I love you when you were alive. I wish I could have done this. The thing is, you know, you need to seize the moment. So it's a two-edged sword, what we were saying. It's a good thing that tomorrow is a new day, because it's like you can renew your efforts of trying to achieve what you were trying to achieve. But also, you can't always say, look, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'll make the move for that person that I like tomorrow. I'll propose tomorrow. I'll go for the job tomorrow. Sometimes you have to do it there and then.
Yeah, for example, Bishop Juliana. So there was a day that says, today is the day that I'm going to do something about it. It's like she stopped just dreaming, hoping that her family will get better with time. But then said, no, today I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to buy the ticket to my daddy to go to the love school.
Yeah.
So she didn't leave for tomorrow, maybe for the following day. Because if she had left for the following day, who knows if she'll be here today. Absolutely. Just to give her testimony.
Well, possibly she would be here today, but maybe not with this amazing story. Now, we have a few minutes to midnight, and I want to invite you right now, you that are troubled by many things, you that perhaps you want tomorrow to have a better day, a day with good news, and also you that you can't sleep well, you suffer with insomnia, constant nightmares, spiritual attacks, you have, you know, you dread the nights. You crave the days and you dread the nights. But I tell you, we're going to pray for you now, and you're going to be able to sleep. You're going to be able to rest, to have the night of sleep, of rest like you haven't had in a long time. If you want, prepare yourself. We're going to watch a very short real-life story. And when we come back, we will already have in our hands the glass with water that we are going to bless. And when we pray for you, if you haven't been able to sleep, you will be able to sleep. And if you have had a succession of bad events happening to you, tomorrow will be already a positive day, if you are ready to seize the moment. Have a look at this testimony.
It started from primary school. I was really angry. I got in loads of fights. Then I got older. I started getting involved with selling drugs. I started getting involved with gangs, with knives, people that had guns, girls. Girls started getting pregnant, things like this. And it just got worse. Most of the guys I was hanging around with started to go to prison. And it even got to a level where a drug deal that we did went wrong. And then I ended up with a gun put to my head. I thought that was the last day of my life. Coming to their church, I found support with other youths who were just like me. And they gave me support when I needed it most. When I felt down, when I felt like I couldn't take things no more, they were always there to give me support. And that literally gave me the push, the urge to change, and I did. Because of that, I'm not involved with gangs no more. I'm not getting in fights. I don't even need to look over my shoulder to say, okay, who's looking for me? Who am I going to get into problems with now? Who am I going to get into fights with now? Who wants to kill me? And I'm happy. I'm truly happy. I'm at peace with myself.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like a prayer concerning your financial life, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
My Lord and my Father, you are a God who understands that tomorrow is a new day, because you said that your mercies are renewed every morning. So even if we have messed up, even if we've made mistakes, you can give us a chance to start again. My Lord, there are people that have had the past few days as days where they have received terrible news, days where everything has gone wrong, days where it's been one bad news, one problem after the other, my Lord. Perhaps this person is even afraid of starting a new day because for them lately, a new day has only brought bad news. But we determine here right now, my God, a change in this person's life, the same change that Juliana saw with her family. I determine right now in this person's family. I determine right now in her health, in whatever situation that this person's been dealing with, I determine here right now a transformation in this person's life. My Lord, give this person the strength to do what they've been putting off, to do it already now. Now, let this person not be putting their decisions off for another 2, 3, 4 days, 10 days. Let them act on it now, my Lord. In this very moment, perhaps if not now, because maybe everyone is sleeping now, but tomorrow, first thing, this person will be using their faith. I also pray for this person, my Lord, that depended on sleeping tablets to be able to sleep a couple of hours. This person who had constant nightmares, who was terrified of the dark, terrified of going to sleep at night, that right now you lift up this darkness that had been over them, this dark cloud, these fears, this panic that was over them, and that after this prayer, after they drink of this water, this person will have the peace that they craved. In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, you can now drink of this water where you are. Remember not to leave for another day what you can do now. So act on your faith tomorrow. If you can act on your faith now, even better. And just one final thing before we finish. This Wednesday, we're going to do something slightly different in this program. We're going to have a couple here who had their marriage completely destroyed. But by the power of faith, they were able to restore their marriage. Now, Pastor Michael Boudrum, who is usually here with us, he will be hosting that program. And I will be here with my wife at the end of the program, in the final segment, the final 10 minutes of the program, as a guest. Because my wife and I, we usually work with couples, advising them on their relationship. And we're going to be giving couples hints and tips on how to make their relationships better. If you're single, you'll also benefit from this for sure. So invite your friends, invite those who you know who benefit from this special program to join us this Wednesday for a very different Finding Answers. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful night. May God bless you.